Hello successes. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa is a pretty big deal in South Africa. He's the current president of the country and also the head honcho of the African National Congress, ANC, that's a political party. He's been involved in politics for a while, starting off as an anti-apartheid activist and then a trade union leader. He even rose to prominence as the Secretary General of the National Union of Mine Workers. In the past, he was also a businessman and had a pretty successful career. He owned McDonald's South Africa, was the chair of the board for Mountain, a member of the board for Lonmin, and founded the Shanduka Group. In December 2012 he returned to politics and served as the deputy president under Jacob Zuma. Then in December 2017, he was elected president of the ANC and 2 months later, he became the president of South Africa. He's been in the top seat since May 2019, and served as the chairperson of the African Union from 2020-2021. He's also had to lead the country through the COVID-19 pandemic. Ramaphosa has an estimated net worth of over $450 million and has been criticized for his business conduct and his harsh stance towards the Marikana miners' strike. On December 19, 2022 it was announced that the ANC's 55th National Conference had elected Ramaphosa to a second term as president of the ANC. Ramaphosa had a pretty interesting upbringing. He was born in Soweto, Johannesburg to Venda parents and was the second of 3 children. He went to school in Soweto and then in Sibasa, Venda, where he was elected head of the Student Christian Movement. In 1971, he went to University of the North, Turfloop, to study law. But while at university he got involved in student politics and joined the South African Students' Organization, SASO, and the Black People's Convention, BPC. This led to him being detained for 11 months in 1974 and again for 6 months in 1976 under the Terrorism Act. After his release, he worked as a law clerk for a Johannesburg firm of attorneys and completed his legal studies through correspondence with the University of South Africa, UNISA, where he got his Bachelor of Procurationis degree in 1981. So, it sounds like Ramaphosa has always been a political person. And even during his student days, he was fighting for what he believed in. After completing his legal qualifications, Ramaphosa joined the Council of Unions of South Africa, CUSA, as an advisor in the legal department. In 1982, CUSA asked him to start a union for mine workers, which he did, and it was named the National Union of Mine Workers, NUM. He was elected as the first General Secretary of the Union and held that position until June 1991, when he resigned following his election as Secretary General of the African National Congress, ANC. While he was the General Secretary, he, James Motlatsi, President of NUM, and Elijah Barayi, Vice President of NUM, also led the mine workers in one of the biggest strikes ever in South African history. Under his leadership, union membership grew from 6,000 in 1982 to 300,000 in 1992, giving it control of nearly half of the total black workforce in the South African mining industry. In 1985, the NUM broke away from CUSA and helped to establish the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, and when COSATU joined forces with the United Democratic Front, UDF, political movement against the National Party government of P.W. Botha, Ramaphosa took a leading role in what became known as the Mass Democratic Movement, MDM. He has also claimed that he is a committed socialist, even though he is not a member of the South African Communist Party, SACP. So after the ANC was unbanned in 1990, Ramaphosa got more involved with the organization. He was elected Secretary General of the ANC at the party's 48th National Conference in 1991 and was the head of the ANC's delegation to the negotiations that ended apartheid. He was also a visiting professor of law at Stanford University in 1991. After the first fully democratic elections in 1994, he became a Member of Parliament, MP, and was elected the chairperson of its Constitutional Assembly on the 24th of May 1994. However, in 1996, he resigned from ANC office and from Parliament and announced his retreat from politics, reportedly because he was disappointed that Thabo Mbeki had been anointed Mandela's successor. After he resigned from politics, Ramaphosa became a businessman, taking advantage of the conducive environment provided by the new Black Economic Empowerment (B) policy. He was executive chairman of Shanduka Group, a company he founded, which invested in mineral resources, energy, real estate, banking, insurance, and telecoms, SECOM. By 2014, Shanduka was worth more than R20 billion, and the Ramaphosa family's Tishbase Trust was its majority shareholder. He was also a chairman of Bidvest, Mountain, and from March 2007, Mondi, a leading international paper and packaging group. His other non-executive directorships included Maxsteel Holdings, Alexander Forbes, Sabmiller, Longman, Anglo-American, and Standard Bank. In 2011, Ramaphosa paid for a 20-year master franchise agreement to run 145 McDonald's restaurants in South Africa. He also belonged to the Coca-Cola Company International Advisory Board and the Unilever Africa Advisory Council. Ramaphosa's various shareholdings made him one of South Africa's richest men. After his resignation from politics, Ramaphosa still dabbled in public service and took on positions both in South Africa and abroad. He became the first vice chairman of the Commonwealth Business Council and in 1998, the chairman of South Africa's B Commission. He was also appointed to the Independent International Commission on Decommissioning as an arms inspector, responsible for supervising the decommissioning of Irish Republican Army armaments in Northern Ireland. In 2007-2008, during the Kenyan crisis, Ramaphosa was chosen by Kofi Annan's mediation team to be the chief mediator in charge of long-term talks, but he withdrew from the talks as he could not be an effective mediator without the trust of all parties. He also continued to accept nominations to the National Executive Committee of the ANC. In 2012, Ramaphosa made his return to political leadership ahead of the ANC's 53rd National Conference, where he was nominated for the position of ANC Deputy President. He received strong backing from President Jacob Zuma, and was elected as the Deputy President of the ANC in a resounding victory. In 2014, after the national elections, President Zuma appointed Ramaphosa as the Deputy President of South Africa. Ramaphosa had begun the process of resigning from various business positions, as required by the Executive Ethics Code. He was also appointed as the leader of government business in the National Assembly and the chairman of the National Planning Commission. During his tenure as Deputy President, Ramaphosa focused on issues such as unity and reconciliation in the country, addressing the allegations of corruption in Zuma's administration, and promoting investment and business in South Africa during official trips abroad. Cyril Ramaphosa is a South African businessman, trade union leader, and politician who has been the President of South Africa since February 2018. He has a long history in politics, starting as an advisor in the legal department of the Council of Unions of South Africa, CUSA, in the 1980s and eventually becoming the first secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers, NUM. He also played a key role in the formation of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, and the Mass Democratic Movement, MDM. After the end of apartheid, he became a businessman, investing in various industries through his company Shanduka Group. He returned to politics in 2012, becoming the ANC Deputy President and later the President of South Africa. He has focused on stamping out corruption in the party and restoring its integrity and public image. He's running for a second term as president in 2024. Ramaphosa has been focused on land reform and the economy since becoming president. He has pushed for a constitutional amendment to allow the government to confiscate farms owned by white South Africans, but economists have been doubtful about the success of this policy. He also dealt with the outbreak of listeriosis, which claimed over 100 lives in 2018. He has made international trips as president, including to Angola and Rwanda, and hosted the 11th BRICS Summit in 2018. He has also taken steps to address issues such as youth unemployment and sanitary challenges in schools. Ramaphosa has also condemned the potential evictions of Palestinian families from their homes in Israeli-occupied East Jerusalem. Cyril Ramaphosa has faced several controversies throughout his political career. The Marikana massacre, which occurred in 2012 while he was a director of Lonmin, has been a source of criticism as he had called for action against the striking workers, which some saw as contributing to the police violence that led to the deaths of 34 miners. He has also been accused of misleading Parliament over donations to his County Route 17 ANC presidential campaign and has faced criticism over the conduct of his business interests. Ramaphosa has denied any illegal activity in these controversies and has stated that some of these allegations were politically motivated. Cyril Ramaphosa is a South African politician, business leader, and philanthropist who has served as the President of South Africa since 2018. Prior to his presidency, he served as the Deputy President under Jacob Zuma from 2014 to 2018 and as the President of the African National Congress, ANC, from 2017 to 2022. During his tenure as president, Ramaphosa has focused on land reform, economic growth, and tackling corruption in the ANC. However, his presidency has not been without controversy, particularly in relation to the Marikana massacre and his conduct of business interests. Despite these controversies, Ramaphosa has remained popular and has been re-elected as the leader of the ANC in 2022, with the next parliamentary general election set to take place in 2024. Let's be positive, pray for South Africa. Like, share, comment and subscribe.